As a master gardener, I was interested in recent studies that showed that 90% of the world's major food crops are pollinated by honeybees. According to Sustain, a food facts website, without bees, many food plants would die out. I looked up which food plants and found out that it includes almonds, apples, blueberries, cherries, avocado, cucumbers, onions, grapefruit, melons, strawberries, and others. Knowing that, what if you heard that beekeepers in the year 2016 reported losing 44% of their bees in the prior 12 months to a disease called colony collapse disorder? Further, what if you discovered that the bee's immune system was being compromised in large part by a well-known product that is probably being found in your garage? And what if you knew that the manufacturer was well aware of the damage being caused, but chose to ignore it and minimize it and sponsor bogus science to try to confuse the public into thinking that their product was safe, also to the point of advertising it as harmless to wildlife? Would you be concerned? And what is the science behind these claims? Has the same chemicals been indicted in human health issues? And another question is, why are some of these products banned in some other countries but still being allowed to be used here in the United States? And are there practical steps that you could personally take to protect the bees and to protect your family's health as well? So what are these chemicals? One is the herbicide glyphosate, which is the primary ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup. The others are insecticides malathion and diazinon. 4 years ago, the World Health Organization reported that glyphosate, malathion, and diazinon were classified as either Group 2A, probably, or Group 2B, possibly carcinogenic to humans. Probably means that it causes cancer, such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and prostate cancer, and there is also strong evidence that diazinon has induced DNA and chromosomal damage. The category 2A means that there's a positive association between exposure to these chemicals and human cancers, but that other explanations could not yet be ruled out. There was also a recent discovery out of Cornell University where they found a honeybee, embedded in amber that they believe is 100 million years old. So, for 100 million years, the honeybee has been working industriously to pollinate plants for food and other uses, and yet in our century, in the last 18 years, sorry about that, we are doing something, humankind is doing something to damage the bee's immune system. Another study showed that there were traces of this pesticide, which acts as a nerve agent on the bee's immune system in 75% of the colonies that were investigated, raising concern about the survival of these crucial pollinators. So this begs the question, why are these chemicals banned in some other countries and still being allowed to be used here? Many believe the reason is that these powerful chemical companies hold influence over the government in our country, and that their flawed scientific studies are the same methods that the smoking industry, the tobacco industry, used to convince people that smoking was not harmful to their health until the overwhelming evidence proved that their excuses were invalid. Since glyphosate was registered in 1974, there has been a 100-fold increase in the use of this product. 100-fold increase. Yet current safety assessments are still relying on studies conducted over 30 years ago. If you were to look on the website by the National Pesticide Information Center, they report partial truths about colony collapse disorder. They admit that it is a complex problem and that it is the result of multiple factors, including habitat loss, parasites, lack of genetic diversity, and tucked into the middle of their list is mention of pesticide exposure, as though all were equally at fault. Unfortunately, that is not true. Habitat loss, parasites are all connected to the product glyphosate. So there is a preponderance of evidence that this chemical is causing a number of different reasons for these bees to be dying out. Of course, predators and diseases are part of our ecosystem, and most of the time, if you have a healthy organism, it can withstand the problem. But several scholarly studies have shown that glyphosate is an inordinate cause of bees losing beneficial bacteria in their guts and making them more susceptible to infection and disease, such as parasites, mites, etc. By divine design, nature is designed to have a symbiotic relationship, meaning both plants and insects benefit from pollination. Plants grow normally and bear fruit and reproduce when they are pollinated properly. Bees get nectar, sometimes mating sites, resin nest construction materials, even plant-generated heat. Likewise, humans benefit from both food plants and bees, so we are part of that symbiotic relationship. In that case, shouldn't we be trying to protect the bees? Shouldn't we be a voice for the bees? The way that we can do this is by writing letters to the editor and to our congressmen and senators, letting them know about our concerns and about what you have learned about these products. Everyone should be aware of how people are exposed to these chemicals. This same World Health Organization report says that one of these chemicals that is banned in some other countries is still used here on livestock and in pet flea collars and other residential insect controls. The report states that the way people are getting exposed to these drugs or these chemicals are workers and the general population can be exposed through living near sprayed areas, home use, in our diet by ingesting food sprayed with these crops, neighborhoods, in our water supply, and in our garden. That's a pretty comprehensive list for anybody that's trying to stay healthy and keep their family healthy. You'll hear some excuses coming out of these chemical companies saying that every crop would be destroyed by pests and weeds without the use of these toxic chemicals, and that people would starve as a result of this. However, the University of Maryland and other places have explained that ordinary white vinegar is effective as a non-toxic herbicide which does not affect the bee's immune system and is not a hazard to human health. Another thing that we could do is to buy organic produce, because organic farmers do not use toxic pesticides or insecticides or fertilizers on their crops, making them healthier for us to ingest and also less of a threat to the bees. In conclusion, toxic chemicals are one of the major causes of colony collapse disorder that is threatening the survival of our honeybees, our main pollinator. The same chemicals are indicted in cancers in humans. There has been evidence for years that these chemical companies know about, and yet they are choosing to use the same methods that the tobacco industry used to deceive the public by sponsoring bogus studies that are trying to convince people that there is no harm to their products. They're doing it to deliberately confuse the public. It has been said that there are two kinds of people in the world: those that wait until there is absolute proof before they make any changes in your life, and others that, as soon as they hear of a possible or probable danger, will avoid that particular product in order to stay healthy and keep their families healthy. So you have to decide, which one are you? Knowing the way that cancer devastates families, is this not worth a closer look? Homeowners can make a huge difference if they will just stop using Monsanto's Roundup, glyphosate, diazinon, or malathion on their gardens and to kill weeds. You can also check the ingredients in your home insect sprays. You can buy organic fruits and vegetables that help protect these pollinators. You can write letters to congressmen, senators, and the letters to the newspaper to educate others. We can do more than pay lip service to this looming problem. We can be part of the solution instead of part of the cause.